It's another early morning. And yeah, you're probably thinking another video of this dude putting on his shoes at the crack of dawn. But let me tell you something. Every one of these mornings is different. And every single one of these videos is different if you really pay attention. Why? Because every day of your life, you've got a choice to make. You can stay in bed like a weak-ass quitter. You can tell yourself, fuck it, I'll skip the workout today. Or fuck it, I don't feel like grinding today. But every time you make that choice to give up, you're letting the weaker version of yourself win every single day. You've got to show up and make the fucking decision again. Yesterday, I chose to get my ass up and run. Guess what? Today, I've got to make the same damn decision all over again. That's the game, and it doesn't stop. So here I am putting my shoes on, dragging my ass out the door and doing what needs to be done. Half a mile out, half a mile back. Every step, every choice is a victory over the easy way out. Here's the hard truth if you want it better. If you really want to fucking grow, you've got to do the shit no one else wants to do. You've got to tackle the stuff people think is dumb or pointless, because those little stupid things, they're the things that make you unstoppable. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you're rewiring your brain. You're telling it this is how we roll now. People love to say nothing is impossible. That's bullshit. A lot of shit is impossible. If you're not willing to break yourself over and over to figure it out, most people try something hard once, maybe twice, and then they quit. They label it impossible because they don't have the balls to keep going. But before you call something impossible, grind it out. Do it again and again until you're borderline insane. Then and only then do you get to decide what's impossible. And I know this firsthand. I've been tied up, hands and feet tossed in the water. I fucking hate the water. I sink like a damn anchor. But that's exactly why I faced it. That fear, that pain almost stopped me from living my dream almost. Life isn't about comfort. It's about those breaking points, those moments when you're staring down the barrel of a decision that's going to shape the rest of your life. 19 years ago, I was 300 pounds miserable and praying for a way out. I decided to try and become a Navy SEAL. My plan was simple. After work, I'd run a mile or a mile and a half. That was it. No magic, no bullshit. Just a fat guy grinding it out. I made it to this one rock, a half-mile marker. I weighed 297 pounds, freezing my ass off, and I wanted to quit so bad. There was no motivational speech, no quotes, no one to tell me I could do it. It was just me sitting on that cold-ass rock deciding whether I was going to stay a loser or keep fucking going. That's what it comes down to. No one's coming to save your ass. No one's going to do the work for you. It's you versus you. Make the fucking decision. I had to make a fucking decision. And that decision was to get up and keep fucking going. That one moment, it didn't just change my day, it changed my entire damn life. So now here I am in Eugene, Oregon, fresh off training with Cameron Haynes. Yesterday we hammered out a brutal 50,000. Let me tell you, my legs feel like absolute shit. Beat to hell heavy is fucking ready to give out. But you know what? I don't know what a day off even means. Maybe I'll take one someday, but not fucking today. People keep asking me, Goggins, how do you train for ultra marathons? The answer is simple. You push yourself until your body screams no more, and then you keep fucking going. Big runs, medium runs, back to back. Yesterday was a 50,000. Today, I'm doing 15 miles, nice and easy, even though my legs feel like garbage. Why? Because this is how they're going to feel at mile 60, mile 70, and beyond in a 100-mile race. When your body says it's done, that's when the real work begins. Get after it. Not tomorrow, not later, right fucking now. Man, I don't live off the fumes of my past. You can only dig into that shit for so long before the fuel runs out. Yeah, I was angry once. I used that anger to tear up the road, to break through barriers, but eventually that fire burns out. You know what I did? I started pulling up the rug, digging through all the ugly shit I've been hiding. I had this whole collection of shells in my mind, every fucked up thing that happened to me, every excuse I could have made. I kept those shells tucked away, a treasure chest of pain. But when I opened it up and really looked at that shit, I realized how bad it jacked me up. Every shelf told a story of pain, failure, and excuses I could have leaned on. But instead of running from it, I stared it down. And now, I've cleared those shelves. That pain, that anger is gone. So what's left? Passion, purpose, the hunger to see how far I can push this human machine. Can I still be driven without the anger? You're damn right I can. I've been dissecting 44 years of my life, still alive, still figuring it out. This isn't a midlife crisis. This is a live fucking autopsy. Until the day I'm dead, I'm testing the limits of what's possible. How far can the mind go? How far can we go as human beings? That's why I call myself the Stephen Hawking of the mind. The dude couldn't walk, couldn't move, but his mind, that shit was unstoppable. He refused to let it go. And me, I refused to let up. Every day I'm still diving and still exploring, still pushing. That's the mission. So get the fuck after it. I became fucking obsessed. Why? Because this thing in my head, this weak ass voice had me by the throat. It was dragging me around, controlling me, making me feel like every bad decision, every excuse, every moment of weakness. It was this voice pulling the strings. It made me feel pathetic, weak, insignificant, dominant, stupid, all at once. I was sick of it. I had to get control of my mind. And let me tell you something. Once you take control, once you grab that motherfucker by the neck and make it your bitch, the possibilities are endless. You realize how far you can fucking go. Back then, my body was broken, completely wrecked. I was in pain all the time. My bones couldn't handle the weight I was carrying, so I started with a bike. The bike didn't hurt as bad, so I pedaled my ass off to lose the first bit of weight. Then I hit the pool. Even though I hated it, I wasn't a good swimmer. Hell, I wasn't even buoyant. I sank like a damn rock. But when I put fins on it, balanced me out, so I swam and swam and swam. Not because I loved it, because I was terrified of the fucking water. I spent hours in that pool, not because it felt good, but because I needed to face the fear. I had to live in the water until it didn't own me anymore. The same water that used to scare the shit out of me. I made it my fucking ally. Then I started running. 1 mile, just one, was a huge accomplishment. From one I pushed to two. Two turned into three. 3 into 6. I kept climbing. Buzz training requires 6 miles 5 days a week, and I made that my goal. Did I fail? Hell yeah, I failed over and over again. But instead of quitting, I flipped the script. I stopped saying I'm not good enough. I started telling myself I'm going to make myself good enough. That became my mentality. That became my obsession. On the days I couldn't hit my mileage, I'd double down. If I could only run a 1/4 mile, I'd stop, let it fuck with my head for a bit, then get back out there and push for a 1/2 mile later. If I had to walk, I walked. But I didn't stop. It was never about talent. It was about relentless fucking effort. Grinding. That word doesn't even come close. It was just me pushing further and further every single day. After a run, I'd hit the bike. After the bike, I'd get in the pool. If my legs were fried, I'd lift. And when I lifted, I went savage mode. I didn't just lift weights, I destroyed them. I'd do over 200 reps of lightweight, over and over again. People would ask me, why don't you have any loose skin? My routine was insane. I burned more calories than anyone could imagine while building muscle. It wasn't about looking good. It was about building an indestructible body and mind. This wasn't a hobby. This wasn't a phase. I fucking lived it. I became obsessed. And if you want to change your life, you better get obsessed too. You can't half-ass this ish. You've got to go all in, mind, body, and soul. That's how you win. I've been through a lot of brutal training, and I've seen some strong-ass men quit. Men who looked unstoppable on paper. I'd ask them, how'd you prepare? And they tell me the same shit. I swam, I ran, I crushed it in the gym. But you know what they never talked about? The mental game. Here's the thing, man. You can be physically jacked, but if your mind is weak, you're fucked. Put a guy who's all muscle into a mentally tough situation like freezing cold water and watch what happens. All his insecurities, all the shit he's been avoiding, it comes bubbling to the surface. Suddenly he's making up excuses. I'm too cold. This isn't for me. My body can't handle it. Then he's sitting there scratching his head saying, so what the hell happened? I trained so damn hard. What happened? He skipped the most important fucking part. The mind. If you don't train your mind to be stronger than your excuses, stronger than the pain, you'll fold every damn time. Listen, don't think this is about flipping tires or running hills in the heat. I'm out here in Vegas right now and it's hotter than hell. But this isn't about physical training alone. It's about taking control of your life. Too many people give life all the power. They just roll over and let life run them. Fuck that. Every morning I do this shit to prepare my mind for whatever life's going to throw at me. A strong body gives you a strong mind, but the real fight is up here. If you're going into battle, you're not leaving without body armor, right? So why the hell would you go into life without mental armor? You got to callous your mind. You got to strengthen it every damn day so when life hits you with the hard shit, you don't crumble. Positive self-talk. Yeah, it's a tool, but here's the thing. If it's not backed by hard fucking work, it's bullshit. Look, man, if you walk into a tough test in college and you haven't studied all the positive talk in the world isn't going to save you. You're going to fail. Why? Because you didn't put the fucking work in. That self-talk has to be the truth, earned through the grind, through the sweat. So don't just talk it. Back it up. Here's another thing I've learned. Life is a fucking tug of war. It's you versus mediocrity every damn day. And let me tell you, mediocrity is sneaky as hell. Some days you've got to play games with it. Like today, I didn't want to run. My body said, nah, not today. So instead of fighting it head on, I tricked it. I said, all right, fine, I'll just do an easy 6 miles. Guess what? Once I got moving, 6 turned into more. That's the trick. You've got to get off your ass and start. Even if it's small. Once the wheels are turning, you realize you're capable of way fucking more. Man, life is a game. And the only way to win is to outwork and outthink everything trying to pull you down. Don't let your mind be the reason you quit. Train it, callous it, and get after it every damn day. Here's the thing about the mind. It's a sneaky medieval motherfucker. It's always watching, always waiting, always ready to sabotage you at the worst possible moment. That's its tactical advantage. It knows your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, and it's not shy about using them against you. The mind will tell you take the easy road. Skip the hard shit. You've done enough. But you got to flip the script. You've got to study that motherfucker like it studies you. Learn its tricks, its patterns. And when it shows up trying to drag you down, you hit back harder. Man, sometimes you've got to outsmart mediocrity. That's what I did. I told myself, all right, fine. We'll just do a couple of miles. Mediocrity thought it won. It loosened its grip. But guess what? By mile 2, I wasn't stopping. Greatness grabbed that weak ass excuse, dragged it through the mud and kept fucking going. That's what it's about, getting out there and getting after it. Not for anyone else, but for you. There are a lot of people out there battling low self-esteem. You let weak people and their opinions crawl into your head, and before you know it, you're doubting yourself. You're looking in the mirror and not liking what you see. Here's the truth. If you want to change the way you feel about yourself, start by changing the way you show up. The gym is a good place to start. But here's the thing. Transformation isn't just about how you look. Sure, you'll see progress in the mirror eventually, but the real shift happens in your mind. The grind, the pain, the discipline, it builds you from the inside out. I didn't know who the fuck I was. One day I looked in the mirror and said, enough of this shit. That mirror doesn't lie. It'll call you out every time. You've got to face it. You've got to stop trying to impress people who don't give a damn about you. You've got to strip away all the bullshit identities you've created to fit in. Because at the end of the day, you're not running against anyone else. You're running against you. And being the best doesn't mean being number one. It means leaving every ounce of yourself out there, no excuses, no regrets. Back in the day, I was a chameleon. I did whatever it took to fit in with different groups. Changed how I talked, how I acted, hell, even how I stood. But no matter how much I lied to everyone else, there was one person I couldn't lie to, the guy staring back at me in the mirror. Every morning I'd shave my head, look myself dead in the eye, and reflect on all the bullshit I pulled the day before. The lies I told. The fake ass version of me I put out there. And why? To impress a bunch of so-called normal people. Think about how fucking pathetic that is, bending over backward to make ordinary people like you. That mirror, it didn't give a damn about my excuses. It called me out every single day. It said, you're pathetic. How does it feel to wake up every morning and know you're not even being real? That truth hit like a punch to the gut. And I finally decided I had enough. I started holding myself accountable. I'd ask, how did I attack the day? Did I even fucking attack it at all? If the answer was no, I wrote the S down. Sticky notes everywhere, calling me out on all the ways I fell short. Then I fixed it. By my senior year of high school, I wasn't the same David anymore. I stopped trying to sit with the cool kids. I stopped giving a damn about their approval. Yeah, people still called me names, but I didn't let that shit faze me. I wrote down a simple goal, sit by yourself. So that's what I did. Day after day, I sat alone at lunch. And guess what? My table became the table people wanted to sit at. Turns out a lot of those kids in that lunchroom felt just like I did, like they didn't belong. By being real, by owning my shit, I gave them permission to do the same. I had a long ass list of things I needed to fix about myself, but I attacked it. Every single day I chipped away at that list. The truth became my starting line. Here's the problem with the world today. It's fake as fuck. Everybody is trying to be someone they're not. Who are you really? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? Most people can't even answer that question. And Yeah, some people don't like what I have to say. Some people hate that I cuss, hate my attitude, hate everything about me, but I don't give a fuck. Because once you figure out who you are, once you stop living to please other people, that's when you actually start living. The truth is fitting in is overrated. Stop trying to make people like you. Find your voice and use it. Say what you mean and stand by it. We live in a world where people buy fucking likes, friends, and comments. Don't be that person. Be real. Be authentic. Be unapologetically you. Because if you're walking around being fake, you're not just lying to everyone else, you're lying to yourself. Here's the thing, man. There are haters everywhere trying to crawl inside your mind. They want to own it, control it, and rip it apart. It's up to you to stand guard and lock the door. The world is full of noise, and if you don't learn to block that shit out, you'll get crushed. Boxers before a big fight, they isolate themselves, cut off all distractions, zero in on the goal. But most of us, we don't get that luxury. We've got to learn to live in the chaos and still keep our minds sharp. Stay in your head, brother. Don't ever let them own it. I got an email the other day. This dude wants to be a ranger, but he's scared. Not of the training, not of the suffering. He's scared of failing. Scared of what people will say if he doesn't make it. Scared of being judged. Here's the truth, man. Anytime you step out of normal and go for something great, the fucking mediocre masses will hate you for it. Your drive, your ambition, your guts, it's a mirror they don't want to look into. It exposes their weakness. So what do? They talk shit. And in today's world, being a coward has never been easier. They don't even have to look you in the eye. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, cowards can sit in the comfort of their own weakness and take shots at you all day. You can't let those little fuckers get in your head. The next step is always the hardest. People don't move forward because their feet are stuck in the concrete of fear. Fear of failing. Fear of being talked about. Fear of stepping out of the pack. That fear, it fucks with your head. Look, man, haters are always going to be there. Always. Embrace them. If you fucking walked on water tomorrow, trust me, they'd say it's only because you can't swim. That's the game. You win by shutting out the noise and staying locked in on your path. The moment you stop worrying about what those cowards think is the moment you start living. Their judgment doesn't mean shit. Their opinions. They're just proof you're doing something they're too scared to try. Dream big, but don't make dreams your master. The world loves dreamers who sit still and do nothing. Be the dreamer who isolates, who grinds, who takes those dreams and turns them into fucking reality. I went into isolation as David Goggins, but I came out as Goggins. There's a difference. Isolation ain't just a timeout. It's the battlefield where you fight the weak version of yourself. That's where you stop playing the victim and start becoming a savage. When fighters train for the big leagues, MMA, boxing, whatever, they don't stay out in the noise. Hell no, man. They go into isolation. That's where their mind sharpens, where their focus gets deadly, and where their dedication levels the fuck up. But here's the thing. If you're in isolation and you're sitting there fucking off feeling sorry for yourself, you're wasting your shot. Use that time to harden your mind. Build that unbreakable focus. Come out swinging, come out stronger, come out savage as hell. And one of the most important lessons in life, and yeah, I learned this shit the hard way, is that you can't give a damn about what anybody thinks of you. You start living for other people's approval. You're done. Over. If I cared about people's opinions, you think I'd be out here hauling 105-pound rucks, screaming like Spain, my ass off. Hell no, man. This is who I am. You got to find out who the fuck you are. And when you do, you better own that shit. Because if you don't, you'll end up living for everyone else. And let me tell you, there's nothing weaker than that. You'll turn into the biggest bitch of all time. And when I say bitch, I'm not talking about women. Don't twist my words. I'm talking about that soft excuse-making mentality. Man, woman, whoever. Back in the day, people didn't get all bent out of shape over words. Now, people trip over every damn thing. I had to learn this on my own. Nobody gave me a damn pep talk. My mom told me I'd fail, my teachers. They didn't expect shit from me. I was out there alone staring in the mirror, and I realized it's all on you, Goggins. What the fuck are you going to do about it? That moment. That's when I started changing. It wasn't overnight, though. Change takes time. I was 17, couldn't read for shit, and I failed the ASVAB test over and over. I had one shot left, and that's when I discovered what real work ethic is. I stopped whining and started grinding. I picked the hardest path, the one most people think you can't finish. Why? Because when you're alone in your own head pushing past every excuse, that's where the magic happens. I built my strength in isolation. I built my mind, my resilience, my toolbox. And every time I faced failure, every time someone doubted me, I added another chip to my shoulder. I didn't need a crowd, didn't need a damn cheerleader. I work best alone. That's where I thrive. So if you're out there waiting for someone to save you, to push you, to tell you it's okay, wake the fuck up, man. Listen, man, when you start walking your own path, when you stop giving a fuck about fitting, people will fall off. That's just how it is. I was already different, man. Even before I started chasing this hard-ass mindset, I didn't fit in. I never fit in. People always ask about my time in the SEAL teams. Yeah, I was part of the SEALs, but I was never part of the brotherhood. You hear me? That wasn't me. That ain't ever been me. And I'm not the guy who's going to be out at the bar clinking glasses trying to fit in with the crowd. I wouldn't join a fraternity in college, and I sure as hell didn't drink the Kool-Aid in the teams. That's just who I am. I've always been an outsider. Growing up, yeah, I wanted friends. I wanted to be liked. But once I figured out who I was and built my own self-esteem, I realized something powerful. I don't need you to like me for me to like me. Then, man, I took it a step further. I started leaning into this being hard mentality. And let me tell you, that shit rubs people the wrong way. Folks don't like it when you're not playing their game. Being in the SEAL teams is like being in one big-ass fraternity. It's a soap opera, the Guiding Light Military Edition. People gossip, start rumors, talk shit. That's life. I didn't give them what they wanted. And yeah, I had setbacks. 2 heart surgeries. That's real. But instead of people saying, damn, Goggins is still out here grinding, they spun it into bullshit he doesn't want to deploy. He just wants to run. You think I wanted to have heart surgeries? You think I didn't want to fight? Hell no. But life doesn't give a fuck about what you want. It just keeps coming at you. Man, looking back, I don't regret a damn thing. I was exactly who I needed to be. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't always me. There was a time when I was embarrassed. I hated the lies I told, the shit I quit, the people I hurt. I felt like anyone could hold that shit over my head, like they had power over me. And I hated that feeling. So you know what I did? I flipped the script. I told myself one day I'm going to own every single thing I've done. All the fucked up shit. All the failures. All the mistakes. I'm going to plaster that shit on a billboard in my hometown and let people drive by and see it. Because once you own your truth, nobody can use it against you. You strip their power away. Now, man, when I was in the military, most of the time we knew the plan, where the run started where it ended. And yeah, you'd see people start smiling on the way back thinking it was almost over. But let me tell you about those instructors who love fucking with your mind. They'd hear that little burst of joy, see that glimmer of hope and say, not today, motherfuckers, and blow right past the so-called endpoint. And just like that, all that happiness disappeared. Heads dropped, silence fell, and I'd start taking souls. Why? Because I knew what just happened in their minds. They were living on the hope factor. They hoped the run would end. They hoped the water wouldn't be cold. They hoped for good weather. Hope. Hope is for the weak. Me, I wish the water was freezing. I wish the instructors kept running till we dropped. I wish the rain came down in sheets. Because when the end is unknown, when the distance is unknown, that's when the truth comes out. That's when you find out who the fuck you really are. Now, I had someone come at me recently with that soft ass talk about managing expectations and tripling down on strengths. What a load of bullshit. That's the kind of mindset that's turning people into fragile little bitches. Managing expectations, capping your brain. Let me tell you something. If I lived like that, I'd still be a 400-pound dude sitting on my ass working a dead-end job, miserable as hell, wondering what I was capable of. Attacking your weaknesses is where the growth is. That's how you find out what's possible. If I had managed my expectations, I'd never have become a SEAL, gone through Ranger School, or done anything that pushed me past the edge. Expectations, fuck that. You know how I stay in shape even when I'm on the road. I don't compromise. I don't make excuses. I had 10 minutes between meetings just now, so I hit the floor and knocked out some core work. That's the secret. You got to stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for that bullshit miracle that's never coming. The body can handle damn near anything. It's the mind that's weak. The mind is always looking for an out. Shut it down. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It doesn't give a fuck about your excuses. We're all carrying a rucksack in life filled with all our shit: stress, pain, failure, self-doubt. You don't drop the weight by hoping it'll get lighter. You face it. You attack it. You find out how strong you are when you're at your weakest. My first 100-mile race, I wasn't ready. Hell, I wasn't even close to ready. I ran 101 miles in 19 hours and 6 minutes unprepared, pissing blood in the worst pain of my life. But you know what? In those 19 hours, I lived 100 years. I felt every emotion: pain, despair, triumph, joy. That race was life compressed into one brutal day. That's what life is, a constant test. And this is one test you can't cheat on. You either show up and face it or you quit. It's that simple. So stop waiting for the stars to align, stop looking for the easy way out, and start attacking life. No excuses, no shortcuts. Just raw, relentless effort. Man, when you hit mile 70, when your body is screaming at you to stop, when you're in the worst fucking shape of your life, and you still got 31 miles staring you in the face, that's where the magic happens. That's where you crack open a part of your mind that 99% of people will never touch. Not because they can't, but because they're too damn scared to go there. They don't have the balls to see what they're made of when everything falls apart. Look, man, fear, pain, suffering, doubt, that's the gateway. That's the door to your potential. But your mind, it won't open that door unless it knows you won't quit. Once you prove that to yourself, once you tell your mind, we're not stopping here, motherfucker, that's when you unlock your 40% room. That's when you find more focus, more drive, more power than you thought possible. You think The Rock climbed that wall because it was easy. Hell no, man. You think he didn't feel fear every step of the way. But he went somewhere else. He dialed in. He became so hyper-focused on every move, every fucking hold that nothing else mattered. That's the level you've got to get to. That's what you find in the pain and the suffering and the unknown. Without those moments, you're living a comfortable, structured life. And let me tell you, comfort is the enemy. It's the enemy of growth. For most of my life, my mind ran me. That's why I made shitty decisions, why I stayed weak, why I let excuses rule my life. But once I took control of my mind, that's when I started making decisions for me, not my weak-ass excuse-filled brain. We all have two voices in our heads, the weak one and the savage one. Most of you listen to the weak one. Me, I told that voice to shut the fuck up. Now, I don't deal with bullshit anymore. I don't need noise in my life. If you're not about growth, if you're not trying to go somewhere, I don't want you on my team. Don't come to me with your problems unless you've got a solution. I'm not here to hold your hand or listen to you whine. I'm here to push forward to get better, to fucking win. You've got to decide who you are and what you want out of life. And once you do, you can't deviate. You've got to cut out the noise, silence the weak voice, and go all in. That's how you take control. That's how you build the life you want. And now I know there aren't many people on this planet who can do what I do. And let me be clear, I don't do this for money, for fame, or for some shiny ass trophy. I'm not out here grinding for a crowd, for a sponsor, for a paycheck. I get up every damn day and push myself harder than anyone else I know for nothing, for fucking nothing. No one sees me. No one knows half the crazy ass shit I do daily. And you know what? Most people wouldn't do it out without some kind of reward dangling in front of them. But me, I do it because I'm obsessed with getting harder, tougher, and stronger mentally and physically every single day. This is my life. This is my grind. This is my war. Here's the thing, man, this shit is supposed to be ugly. It's supposed to hurt. You're supposed to be beaten, bruised, and battered. This is what life is supposed to look like. It ain't some fucking rose garden with sunshine and butterflies. It's a sewer. It's dirty. It's grimy. It's painful, and it's ugly as hell. That's what it's supposed to be, and once you accept that, everything changes. The more my mind shifted from thinking life should be easy to knowing it's meant to be hard, the stronger I got. I stopped running from pain and started embracing it. I told myself failure is the only way I'm going to grow. And that mindset changed my entire reality. I started looking at life as the ultimate training ground, a way to sharpen my tools and build an indestructible ass toolbox. People love to ask me, Goggins, how can I get hard if I didn't have a shitty childhood? My dad didn't beat me. I wasn't bullied. I didn't stutter. How do I get tough? Let me tell you something. None of that shit made me hard. Those things could have just as easily broken me, made me soft, turned me into a weak ass victim. What made me hard was choice. I had to find strength in those moments. I had to build myself. We all got a list in our heads, a list of shit we don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. For some, it's heights. For others, it's getting your ass out of bed early. Maybe it's cold water, maybe it's going back to school, or maybe it's facing some fear you've been running from your whole damn life. Whatever it is, we all got that list. And what do? We avoid it. We tiptoe around it. We pretend it doesn't exist. Here's the thing, man, that list you're scared of. That's the only fucking list you should be working from. You need to rip that shit out of your head, slap it down in front of you, and attack it one fear at a time. That's how you build a callous mind. You don't get strong by staying comfortable. And you damn sure don't get mentally tough by avoiding what scares you. You don't build mental toughness by living in some imaginary golden world where everything feels good and safe. That's a fantasy. The only way to get hard is to face the shit you hate over and over again until your mind grows callous. It's just like your hands. But here's the thing, motivation ain't enough. Motivation is bullshit. Sure, it feels good for a minute. You watch Rocky hear a speech and you're hyped as hell. But motivation is like a little spark. It doesn't last. Life storms will blow that shit out in no time. Bills, drama, sickness, failure. All that noise will crush motivation the second it gets tough. Motivation gets you out the door, but discipline is what keeps you moving when everything hurts like hell. When I first started running, I couldn't even make it a quarter mile without feeling like I was going to die. A quarter fucking mile and I was done. But I didn't quit. Why? Because I wasn't relying on motivation. I was building discipline. Discipline doesn't care how tired you are. Discipline doesn't care if it's hard. Discipline shows up every damn day, no matter what. A lot of you listening to this will go beyond just being motivated. You'll find something deeper. You'll find a drive, a passion, and obsession. And when you start living like that, people won't understand you anymore. They'll slap labels on you. Crazy obsessed, what's wrong with you? Because your level of commitment makes them uncomfortable. They can't wrap their soft-ass minds around what's fueling you. Here's the truth, man, most people don't have the kind of drive it takes to push through real pain. That's why I hammer on motivation versus drive. Motivation is weak. It's fleeting. When life hits you in the face, motivation crumbles. But drive doesn't give a fuck about your bad day, your unpaid bills, or how tired you feel. Drive is that raging inferno inside you burning nonstop, pushing you forward no matter what. Motivation is like a spark. It'll light you up for a second, but life will blow that shit out before you even get started. Drive is a damn bonfire. It's that massive log in the woods that burns for days, even in the rain. And drive doesn't need constant feeding. It sustains itself because you're locked into something bigger than excuses or circumstances. That's what separates the doers from the quitters. But let's be real, most people don't want that kind of accountability. They listen to that soft-ass voice in their head. You know the one I'm talking about, the one that keeps you comfortable, tells you it's okay to skip the hard shit and serves you milk and cookies when you're feeling low. That voice is a fucking liar. It's the same voice that got me to 297 pounds fat as hell, broke and miserable. That voice told me you've done enough, you deserve this. Just take it easy. And I listened to it for way too long. And that easy road is full of mistakes. You take the soft path and all you'll find is regret. But when you choose the hard road, the one where every step hurts, where nothing is guaranteed, you stop making the same dumb mistakes. Why? Because it's too damn hard to keep failing and getting back up. The hard road forces you to level up or quit. And I don't fucking quit. A lot of people out here love to draw their little finish lines. They're all about saying, once I hit this, I'm done. That's bullshit. Man, I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. Most people don't even know what done looks like because they're too busy quitting when it gets hard. And when I was younger, I didn't have goals. Hell, I didn't even have direction. But over time, I learned it's not about some grand-ass goal. It's about having a to-do list. If you don't have one, you're just going to sit on your ass and rot away. A to-do list keeps you moving, keeps you sharp. Look at people in the military or corporate jobs. They'll grind for 20 years and say, I'm going to retire. Okay, great. But what's next? What the fuck are you going to do now? You see, I've got a what next list. I never sit idle. Not for one damn second. You'll never catch me just laying around saying I made it. I've arrived. That's loser talk. I don't ever arrive. I'm always hunting the next challenge. People love to ask me, are you happy? That question cracks me up. They ask it because my drive makes them feel weak. It's their insecurity talking. They're sitting there soft as hell thinking, damn, this guy's too intense. He must not be happy. No, motherfucker, I'm not happy in your sense. I'm driven. I'm fulfilled. I'm living in a place most people can't even comprehend. If my grind makes you feel like shit good, that means I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. When I was weak, I used to say the same kind of crap to driven people. They must be crazy. They're not normal. You know why I said that? Because I didn't understand them. I didn't have what they had. My mind couldn't process their level of grit, so I tried to dismiss it. Now, when people throw those questions at me, I know I'm exactly where I need to be. I've left them behind and they hate it. Even though I'm a man of faith. And yeah, I cuss like a sailor. I don't believe God told me to rest. God built me to grind. When I ran my first 100-mile race, I wasn't ready for it. It was on a 1-mile loop, 1 mile, over and over again. It was hell. My body was wrecked. By the time I hit 101 miles in 19 hours, I was pissing dirt, shaking uncontrollably, couldn't even walk. My ex-wife had to help me get to the tub. She turned the shower on, I was just laying there completely drained. But here's the wild part, I didn't want that feeling to end. That pain, that exhaustion, it was the most beautiful fucking thing I'd ever felt. I had emptied the tank physically, mentally, spiritually. I had pushed myself to a place I didn't even think was possible. And in that pain, I found a version of myself I didn't know existed. At mile 70, I was done. My body was broken. I had pissed all over myself and I had 31 miles left. Most people would have quit right there. Hell, most people wouldn't have even made it to mile 70. But I kept going. And in those last 31 miles, I learned more about myself than I had in my entire life. That's where the magic is. In the suffering and the grind, in the moments where you're convinced you've got nothing left, but somehow you find more. That's why I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. Man, when you're out there in the thick of it, those conversations in your head come at you like a damn freight train. They're fast, relentless. And they all say the same thing, quick, get out of here. You can't do this. That shit eats at you. But the thing is, I learned how to fight back. I found tactics. I built tools. I dug deep as hell. When I finally finished that grind, I laid in the tub, body wrecked, mind fried, and I felt it. That feeling of holy shit, I just broke through something. I didn't just hit a wall, I shattered it and walked into a part of myself that most people will never even know exists. It was like unlocking a whole new part of my brain, a world most folks don't even believe is real. That feeling, I can't even put it into words. There's this barrier in your mind, a blockade. Most people stop at it because they think it's unbreakable. But here's the truth, you've got to figure out how to rip that thing down. For me, the biggest barrier was my father. Once I faced that demon, once I confronted the pain and ripped it out by the roots, I was finally free. Free to think. Free to act. Free to push myself in ways I never thought possible. For years, I couldn't feel good about myself. Every time I climbed a mountain, that demon would show up, drag me back down, and throw me in the same damn cage. It wasn't until I went back, really went back, and found the source of the pain that I broke free. Most people don't want to do that. Their knee hurts. They just focus on the damn knee. But it's not always the knee. Sometimes it's your hip throwing everything off. Life's the same way. You've got to go to the root. Find out what's really fucking you up. When I talk about suffering, this soft-ass world loses its mind. They're like, oh my God, why would you say that? Because suffering, when you handle it the right way, is your greatest weapon. I'm not saying you have to go through something like cancer to get tough, but I am saying that when life slams you with pain, there's a way to flip that shit on its head and pull power out of it. Look, man, every ounce of suffering I've been through, the heart surgeries, the bullying, the failures, it's all been fuel. If you stop crying about how hard life is and start seeing it as your training ground, you'll get stronger. Suffering ain't punishment, it's preparation. It's sharpening you for what's next. Most people cry about their suffering like it's some cosmic injustice, like, oh no, life's so unfair. But when I feel that way, I know I'm being tested. That's life, man. It's always testing you. The question is, how are you going to show up? Are you going to fold, or are you going to step up and fight through it? That's where I created the cookie jar. Growing up, we were dirt poor. My mom would buy these cheap ass cookies from all these like 50-cent knockoffs and dump them in a jar. That jar became my metaphor. Every time I go through something hard and survive, I put that victory in the jar. When shit gets tough again, I reach into that cookie jar and pull out a memory I've been through worse. I survived that. I can survive this too. The world's not going to hand you strength. You've got to take it. And the only way to take it is by smashing through those mental roadblocks, by leaning into the suffering, and by turning that pain into your damn fuel. And life's going to hit you hard. And when it does, you've got to dig deep into your own damn cookie jar. Not the sweet-ass store-bought kind. Nah, man, I'm talking about the badass cookie jar. You build from your pain, your victories, and the moments you thought you couldn't keep going, but did anyway. Here's the thing, man. When shit gets tough, our minds love to trick us into thinking we're weak. It focuses on the pain, the suffering, the now. Oh my God, this is too much. I can't handle this. That's bullshit. That's your mind trying to punk you out. But you've been through worse. You've survived. You've thrived. You just forgot about it. That's where the cookie jar comes in. When you're down beaten and ready to tap out, you reach into that mental jar and pull out a cookie, something from your past that reminds you who the fuck you are. I've been through hell. 5 kids, the only black kid in an all-white school. Taught myself to swim. Taught myself to read and write. 3 Navy SEAL Hell Weeks. Ranger School. Delta Force selection twice. I've run 200 miles. Then 256 miles. I've done 4,000 pull-ups. Those aren't just accomplishments. Those are cookies, man. And it doesn't matter what your cookie looks like. You've beaten cancer. That's a cookie. You've survived loss. That's a cookie. You've run your first 5K. That's a cookie. It's all relative. It's not about what anyone else thinks is tough. It's about what you've been through and survived. So when I'm deep in the pain cave ready to quit, I take a second. Just 1 second. I tell myself, hold up, motherfucker. You've been here before. You've done harder shit than this. I reach into that jar, pull out a cookie, and remember, I've taught myself to swim. I beat my own demons. I've run until my legs gave out. I've done the impossible. I'm still here. I'm still standing. That's the power of the cookie jar. It reminds you that you're a bad motherfucker. Every cookie is proof that you've faced the worst and made it out alive. So when life tries to knock you out, dig and pull that cookie and keep fucking going. You've already proven who you are. Don't you dare forget it. People don't like to talk about suffering. The soft-ass world we live in today is like, oh no, suffering is bad. We need to avoid it. Fuck that. Suffering is where you find out who you really are. Life isn't supposed to be all sunshine and rainbows. It's a damn testing ground. Every ounce of pain, every setback, every motherfucker who doubted me, it's all been a trial to make me stronger. Here's the thing, man, suffering is a tool. It's how you callous your mind, how you build that mental armor. But only if you look at it the right way. If you sit there like, woe is me, life's so hard, then yeah, you're missing the whole fucking point. But if you can step back and say, all right, this is my test. How the hell am I going to show up? Then you've got something. So when I'm deep in the pain cave ready to quit, I take a second. Just 1 second. I tell myself, hold up, motherfucker, you've been here before. You've done harder shit than this. I reach into that jar, pull out a cookie, and remember, I've taught myself to swim. I beat my own demons. I've run until my legs gave out. I've done the impossible. I'm still here. I'm still standing. That's the power of the cookie jar. It reminds you that you're a bad motherfucker. Every cookie is proof that you faced the worst and made it out alive. So when life tries to knock you out, dig and pull that cookie and keep fucking going. You've already proven who you are. Don't you dare forget it. People love to hit the gym, get jacked, run fast, look like a damn superhero. But here's the truth. All they're doing is slapping a shiny coat of paint over a weak ass mind. That's it. You're not building strength. You're building a bigger, stronger quitter. And the second real adversity shows up, you're fucked. You're standing there shredded and fast asking what's wrong with me. I'll tell you what's wrong. Your mind is still soft as hell. When I got that 1,000-page dive manual 18 months before dive school, I wasn't the smartest motherfucker in the room. Hell, I never was. Most people would have taken one look at that thing and said, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. But I didn't play that game. I asked myself, how? How can I get through this? How can I find a way? That's the thing to everything. You've got to strategize every single problem in your life. Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Don't sit there like, oh my God, I've got all this shit to fix. Nah, take one problem at a time. Break that shit down piece by piece, step by step. You keep grinding on that one problem and before you know it, you've tackled it. Then you move on to the next one and the next one problem at a time. That's how you fix your life. That's how you harden your mind. But it all starts with that vision. If you don't have a vision, you're just spinning your wheels. Create it and then get to fucking work. Man, your mind is like a damn governor on a car. That car can hit 130, but the governor kicks in at 91 and says, nope. That's far enough. That's your fucking mind. It's built to protect you, to keep you from going too far too fast. And guess what that shit is holding you back? Your mind has a tactical advantage over you. It knows all your fears, your insecurities, your weak ass excuses. It knows when doubt creeps in and whispers, hey man, this is getting uncomfortable. Let's go back to the couch. Let's go home to the wife and kids. Let's chill the fuck out. And that's when your mind takes over. It's like, I'm the boss here. I'm saving your ass. But here's the reality: your mind doesn't want you to be in charge. It wants to run the show. So when it tells you to stop, you've got to say, fuck that. You've got to start breaking through that mental governor. Because here's the thing, we're the ones who put that governor there in the first place. We just forgot. We think our mind is in control, that it's calling the shots. Nah, man, you control your mind, not the other way around. Reprogram that shit. When your mind starts feeding you all that weak-ass feedback, you've got to push back. Tell yourself we're good. This sucks, but we've got this. We're not stopping. That's the game. The problem is most people set these huge-ass goals, and when they don't see results fast enough, they quit. They're impatient as fuck. They want the big win right now. But life doesn't work like that. You've got to find pride in the small wins. When I was losing weight, I didn't focus on the fact that I had 106 pounds to lose. That would have fucking crushed me. Instead, I focused on the first 5 pounds. When I dropped from 297 to 292, I let myself feel proud of that. I was like, hell yeah, I'm fucking doing it. It's about patience. You've got to embrace the process, not the end result. But here's where people screw up. They don't celebrate those small victories. They're chasing some huge, unrealistic goal. And when it doesn't happen fast enough, they're done. They quit. That's why they fail. There's no finish line in life, man. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and enjoying those little moments of progress. You lose 5 pounds. Fucking awesome. Now go for 10. It's a process. It takes time, and you've got to have the patience to stick with it. For me, all the shit I've been through is tattooed in my brain. Every day I wake up and battle that weak-ass version of myself that still wants to creep in. That voice that says you couldn't read. You weren't good enough. Remember that shit from your past? It's always there. It doesn't go away. But you've got to face it head on every fucking day. That's why I push myself physically. That's the battlefield where you really find out who the fuck you are. Life is about self-discipline. It's about doing the hard shit. The stuff that builds mental toughness and hardens your mind. Easy doesn't build shit. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you better. So stop looking for the easy way out and start attacking every day like your life depends on it. Because it does. Here's the thing, working out is the fucking battlefield where you can build discipline faster than anywhere else. It's the one place that gives you instant feedback. Yeah, you might not see the weight fall off as fast as you want, but the discipline, the damn discipline that you build, that shit transfers to every part of your life. People always ask me, why are you working out so much? Why don't you just stop? Fuck that. Stop looking at it that way. Working out isn't about vanity. It's the foundation of life. Every morning we all face the mirror. You stand there and what you see is the first thing that defines your day. If you don't like that reflection, if you feel like shit before you've even stepped out the door, you've already lost the war. But it's not just about liking what you see. It's about feeling something when you look in that mirror. Feeling different. Feeling alive. That mirror is the first checkpoint of your day. And if you can control what you see and feel in that reflection, you've already set the tone to fucking fight. Because the moment you leave your house, the war begins. Out there, you don't have control. But in your house, looking in that mirror, you do. That's where it starts. You leave your house ready to battle, ready to say, let's fucking go. And that fire, it comes from working out. Not from sitting in some cushy ass office chair, not from talking about it, but from putting in the fucking work. I remember watching Rocky round 14. That scene hit me like a fucking train. Rocky's down bleeding, busted his corner, yelling, stay down. Everyone thought he was done. Apollo Creed, the champ, throws his hands in the air like it's over. But then I saw it, Rocky getting the fuck up. And it wasn't just about Rocky. It was about Apollo. Apollo turned around, saw Rocky standing in his face, told the whole story. That undefeated champion looked defeated. He didn't lose because Rocky knocked him out. He lost because Rocky refused to quit. That moment hit me like nothing else. I didn't care about winning. I didn't care about the damn title. I wanted that heart, that character, that unbreakable fucking will to keep getting up no matter what life threw at me. I didn't want to be Rocky. I didn't give a shit about being a movie hero. I wanted to be the guy who kept fighting, kept standing, no matter how hard I got hit. That moment became my vision. I wanted to feel that pride, not the kind you get from winning, but the pride of knowing I didn't quit, yet I kept showing up. That I refused to stay down. And here's the truth, man, to get there, you've got to get uncomfortable as fuck. That's the secret. No shortcuts, no easy way out. It's about stepping into the pain, embracing the grind, and finding pride in the process. That's how you feel alive. That's how you build a mindset that doesn't break. And every time you step in front of that mirror, you remind yourself, I'm still here. I'm still standing. Let's fucking go. Most people don't know the whole fucking story. They think I came out of the womb as this hard-ass unbreakable machine they see now. They see the end product, the finished job. But let me tell you something, they didn't see the fucking process. They didn't see the fire I had to walk through, the beatings I had to take over and over to forge this mindset to build this man. To make a sword, you got to put it through the fire. You've got to beat the shit out of it. That's what life did to me. And I realized real fucking quick, nothing hard comes from soft. People love to sit back and cry about failure. I failed, so I'm done. Fuck that. It's all about how you look at failure. I flipped the whole damn script. Failure wasn't the end for me, it became my fuel. I started asking myself, how many people out there could do what you do in Goggins? How many people could come from where you came from and keep fucking going? That became my internal conversation, and it lit a fire inside me that never went out. I knew where I came from, man. I couldn't fucking read. I was at the bottom. My dad beat the soul out of me, broke me down to nothing. I was 175 pounds of weakness and fear. Then I made it even worse. I let myself balloon up to almost 300 pounds. I was in a deeper hole than ever before. But you know what? That made the story even better. All the shit I'd been through, all the pain, all the failure, I turned it into power. I started thinking, what if? What if I could take all this fucking misery, all this doubt, and turn it into exactly what I wanted? Every time life knocked me down, I treated it like one of those Rocky moments. Life screaming at me to stay down, and I'm there thinking, fuck no. I'm getting back up. Every single time. Because those moments, those failures, that's where the real power is. It wasn't about what I'd been through. It was about what I could become. I knew that if I could take all that shit and turn it into something, then nobody could touch me. Nobody could say a damn thing because I earned every fucking inch of who I am today. That's the mindset you need to adopt. Take your failures, your pain, your weakness, take all that shit and flip it. Make it your fuel. And when people ask you how you did it, you just smile and say, you don't even know the half of it. Stay hard, motherfuckers.